Welcome, 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 everyone from all the 10 directions, all over the world, coming into this holy virtual temple, finding your seat on a comfortable cushion under the stars with the full moon shining down. I'm Cynthia Jewers. I'm so delighted to be here tonight with my beloved sister Rasul, who is in Colombia, who is helping to host us on the Zoom and will help facilitate our sharing after the meditation. And I'm in New Mexico, as most of you know, outside of Santa Fe. And I also have here our dear friends Therese, Hogan, and Etai, Gilad from all over the world. I don't know where to say you are actually. Therese is originally from Australia. Etai is originally from Israel. They live in New Zealand. They stewarded a treasure vase to New Zealand fairly recently this year, and have been traveling in Israel, as well as now they are in Greece and on their way to Italy, where some of you might be joining me and Rasul and others for an in-person retreat coming up in just a couple of weeks. The retreat is connected to the practice of Mother Gaia, and I'm very much looking forward to that. So I'm going to invite Therese and Etai to share a little more in a minute, but I wanted to, first of all, just, I guess, take a moment to acknowledge that this is the harvest moon, that time of the year, at least in the Northern Hemisphere, when we are harvesting the fruits of all the seeds that have been planted this year, this season. And it feels very like such a rich time here, at least here in New Mexico. And I know for our friends in the Southern Hemisphere, you're just going into that spring energy, and everything is beginning to bud and come forth. So it's also a supermoon, and we are on the verge of some eclipses coming up. The first one of this season will be on the new moon in just a couple of weeks. So as usual, these are potent, powerful times we're in. And for those of you who may be new to this monthly full moon call, I welcome you, especially. And for those of you who are listening to the recording later, thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for helping to build the energy for global healing and collective awakening, which is really our purpose in doing this practice. A practice that I received from an old wise man in a cave in Nepal back in 1990 named Charak Rinpoche, who I had the great opportunity to ask, what can we do to bring healing and protection and renewal to the earth in these times? And he gave me and all of us this practice that comes from the Tibetan tradition and has been made anew through all of our efforts together as we have filled these little clay pots with our prayers and offerings and planted them all over the world to form this global healing mandala of prayers and intentions for Mother Earth. And when we practice together, we are activating this mandala through our visualization and through our offerings and prayers. So let's do that. Let's do that and keep it active for all that is needed in the world today. Activated, I should say. So I mentioned about Italy and this retreat coming up, and I wanted to share that during this retreat, we will be dedicating 3 new Earth Treasure Vases. And so I will be bringing to Italy a vase for Afghanistan, a vase for India, and a vase for Luxembourg. And those 3 we will be telling and sharing more about in the near future. But those 3 are powerful locations with stories to tell and jobs to do, the little vases. They just seem to be, there just seems to be so many of them in process right now. We just recently met around the vase that was taken to the Permian Basin here in southern New Mexico, buried on the equinox. I was in Los Alamos for a ceremony to send it off with Mary Naranjo, our dear elder from Santa Clara Pueblo, and some other elders from this area. And of course, Los Alamos is a place where we have a lot of prayers here at the center of the mandala. There's also another vase that just came into activation, which I really can't speak too much about, but I will just tell you right now, and then we'll keep it to ourselves, that it has gone into Russia. So in order to protect the destiny of that vase, I'm not going to go into details anymore, but wanted you to know it's a real fulfillment, as is Afghanistan for me. I've kept certain vase, locations as in the dream, in the prayer and in the dream for a very long time, and some of these are now coming to pass, which is really an amazing thing. Therese and Etai have gone, as you may know, to Israel, and there has been a treasure vase buried in Israel for many years. It was one of the early ones, and we are looking forward to hearing a little bit more about that in a minute. But again, Israel, is such a powerful location in the world. Some of these feel like, many of these really feel like they have a very powerful purpose because of the locations that they are in. And that purpose has so much to do with world powers, vying for control of resources and ideologies. There's so much instability in a lot of these regions that we're all affected by. It's so intense. And so I've just been really feeling the way in which our practice is kind of gaining even more capacity, maybe. I don't know really how to put it into words, but there's a lot in motion with all of these treasure vases, and it does feel to me like this global mandala of so many locations now and so many in process is maturing, and that it has, in a sense, kind of grown over the years to support more and more powerful prayers for our world. And I don't know whether any of you have also felt this, but I started to feel as if there's kind of maybe a little bit of a shift taking place in the collective energetic field these days, as if, in spite of how powerfully dangerous the world is and the challenges that we're facing, that there is also this growing awareness that there really is a collective awakening taking place, that more and more of us are taking responsibility, waking up to the potential for transformation that is called for, and joining into a collective awareness that is so much a part of what we are cultivating here every full moon. So I guess that would certainly be one of my prayers as all of these vases are in process. And we will invoke all these locations in the meditation as we do every month. But we also realized, those of us who are working together here at the center of the mandala, that it's probably best not to initiate any new Earth Treasure Vases for the moment, that we have enough to work with all that are still in process for now, and that it would be really good for us to really direct our attention to all these that are in process, and to see them through, or at least many of them, into the ground to fulfill their purpose. So one of them that has been in process for a long time is the one that is being stewarded by Julian Silburn and his partner Sophie. Julian is here on the call tonight, and maybe, Julian, you could speak to your treasure vase when we open the circle for sharing. But he's planning to bury it in November on the full moon, so that's exciting news. And the next year, with sort of taking a pause, I'm just going to say that I'm personally very excited about the publication of my book, which is called Summoned by the Earth, and will be coming out on the spring equinox, actually, March 19th. So you can look for that. I will be asking you to consider pre sales so that we can get it out there. But it will be so wonderful. It's been such a labor of love, and it will be so wonderful to be able to share this book with all of you and with the world. And it's really just 6 months away at the turning of the season once again. So that the book coming out will provide an incredible opportunity for us to gather around the world, I hope, in regions where treasure vases are in process, to activate them together, to have the book support whatever wants to happen as well in the regions where some of you live. So I'm starting to dream about all of that, and just wanting to ask for your support and encouragement, and hopefully we will gather in person here in New Mexico. I'm envisioning an in-person gathering here next year to, as we say in Australia, sing up the song lines and really activate and celebrate this global healing mandala that has gone so far and wide over all of these years. And it really feels like something to be together and celebrate around next year. So please stay tuned. And for now, I'd like to really welcome you, Therese and Etai. It's really meaningful to me that you are not only going to share with us about Israel, but also maybe begin by telling us for just a moment about what it's like to be in Greece. And I think that today, on this full moon, where you went to the treasure vase location on Mount Parnassus, where we buried the treasure vase only a couple of months ago. So welcome. And Therese, would you like to start by sharing a little bit about that, just briefly, how that was for you today?
Yeah, for sure. Thank you, Cynthia. And hi, everyone. Yasis from Greece. It feels great to be here again. We started our journey down in Crete, this time in the island of Crete. and then have travelled up through Athens. An Athenian man told us that they haven't had rain there for 4 months. It's been a hot, dry summer, but they had rain the night before we arrived. And the night that we were there, the night after we visited the Acropolis, there was thunderstorms clapping and roaring around us. And so from there, we've made our way up through Ephesus, which you mentioned, Cynthia, the harvest moon of this time of the year. And Ephesus is the place of the illusion mysteries, a ceremony, a 9-day ceremony, which would have been here, and the place of honouring Demeter, the harvest goddess. So we offered grains in the cave there, and yeah, just tuning in with that beautiful harvest energy. It's also the time after the harvest, so the time when Persephone is about to go into the underground, so honouring the coming of the winter time as well, and all the mysteries that are held in these times of the year. So from there, we've made our way up the mountains. We actually drove past some of the mountains where there's been fires in Greece over the summer. So that looks quite devastating. You know, if you drive with a vista looking over kilometers of mountains, half of it is green and half of it is black. And yeah, there are wind farms going up on some of those blackened mountains. So sending our love out to the fire ravaged areas of Greece as well. But yeah, we've made our way up into the mountains where it's also been rainy, and the autumn time is quite green and lush. We're staying near Aotearoa, and yesterday in this full moon energy made that trek up to Mount Parnassus. We walked that same journey that we walked when we were all here together. So it's got that vibrant green. There's only a little bit of colour now compared to the springtime. There's some vivid yellow flowers, and then right near the area where the vase is buried, there's a beautiful plum tree which drops small golden plums on the ground. So very golden yellow energy, and also overlooking all the fields is quite golden compared to the green that we saw in the springtime. So the vase there feels very safe and secure in its place deep in the earth. One bee greeted us at that location as well, so the bee energy is still definitely alive and humming there. And the little beetles were the main little animal that we saw. They're these beetles that look a bit like a rhinoceros beetle or a scarab beetle, and they do that work of transforming the dung into the fertile soil. They were the little power animal of the moment. So yeah, the location's singing and humming.
So glad to hear that you were able to go there at this time and keep all those prayers alive. It's so beautiful where you are, and just thank you very much for bringing us there with you. Yeah, so Etai, you are from Israel, and I think you have a perspective about Israel as a place in our Global Healing Mandala. Would be nice to hear just briefly from you what you would like to share about your country. And also, you both went to the location where the treasure vase was buried many moons ago. So tell us what you found and how it felt.
So hi, shalom lekulam. As you know, the word shalom means hi, but it means peace as well. I thought to start with a few words about Israel, because I always, people that I meet, they heard about Israel. It's always in the news, usually negatively, with some war or something that happened, but people don't really know much about it. So few words, if possible, to capture this intense place. I don't live there over 25 years. So I have a, you know, as person that born there but then left, I have this perspective of a bit outsider, insider kind of. And so start with the fact that Israel is a tiny place. It's about the size of Lake Michigan. It's only, if you want some, it's 500 kilometers. It's kind of a stripe, 500 kilometers. That it's about 360 miles length, and then on the wide part, it's 100 kilometers. That it's about 60 mile, and it's narrowed down to 10 kilometers on the edge near Elat, so 5 miles. So it's tiny. But then in this small place, the diversity is intense. In one hand, on the west, we have the whole Mediterranean coast, that it's a bit like what would you expect in Greece or Italy, like Mediterranean. But then we have in the north mountain with snow, and we have 3 different types of deserts. So in really small space, we have different climates and different vegetation. In that small place, at the moment, that about 10 million people live. So it's crowded, but it's you know, it's not crowded India. It's crowded different. I always say like that it's that Israel is, because it's so small, it's very condensed and very stressed, like of oppositions, black and white. It's in one hand you have all the history and archaeology, all the way people live there from the time of the Neanderthals. In the last 10,000 years, there are many people that claim it their belong to us, because it is on the center of the way between Europe and the East, the India and China. So it was always a center point, and it always people wanted to be in control in this area. Nowadays, the, you know, coming after a few years that I haven't been there, the amount of roads, like highways that they build there, and the whole center is built with the center of Israel is, you see very little green patches. You know, when you go up to the north, it's different, but like the center is very, very dense, very condensed, with lots of cars, lots of high-end technology. Israel is considered the top in innovation, and a lot of the apps that you use and that come originally from Israel, like high-end technology in one hand. In the other hand, you find like, you know, you go to the shop and everything is in plastic, and then they give you another plastic bag to pleat. And we coming from New Zealand, we're like, what are you doing? Like, why so much plastic? And they don't understand. So like there is like all those changes of like, you know, from, you know, you meet the nicest people that will help you, and they're really warm-hearted, and then you meet everyone are like, you know, you're going on the road and it's like going into a battle. It's like everyone driving like crazy. So this tension at the moment, there is, well, the ongoing tension with the Palestinian around, and I won't go to that because, yeah, it's, you know, no one can actually dive into it in few words, but it's a tension that's going for many, many years. But then there is something that started around last November. Israel have now a government that is very right-wing, and with right-wing and religious parties, and they try to change the face of Israel as a state, and basically taking the power from the Supreme Court. They're taking the power from the courts, so the government will have ultimate power. Basically, they make it into dictatorship. And so since I think like January, people are out in the street almost on a daily basis demonstrating, and it's sometimes in the thousands, sometimes in the hundreds of thousands. And yeah, as my friend said, like it's our job. You know, we just finish our job, taking the kids and going to the street. And it's very, of course, you know, you have all the people that support the government and think that it's a good idea. So, you know, depends who you're talking to, extreme ideas. But overall, it's just like the whole idea of like changing the constitution of Israel, what we based on, that was supposed to be justice and equal, no matter of the religion, gender, or color, into a very yeah, a government that will have ultimate power. It's just, yeah, doesn't really compute for us. So this is like some overall picture. The beauty of the place, the strength of the place, the history of the place in one hand, and then like all the tension in the other hand. Then a few words about Ein Karem. Ein Karem, where the Vases is an oasis. It's just a beautiful place in Jerusalem, near Jerusalem, part of Jerusalem city nowadays, but it's a bit outside of the city. And it will be inhabited for many, like thousands of years. It's mentioned in the Old Testament, in the time of when the tribes of Israel were there, and the tribe of Jehuda was their region, and it's mentioned in the Old Testament. And then in the New Testament, Saint John the Baptist was born there, and for the Muslim as well, it's a place, is a holy place. So it's really a sacred place for many years. It's kind of nestled outside of town. It's like beautiful mountain view with orchards of different trees, and lots of what would you say, the most common, help me here?
Trees.
Yeah,
the
olive trees.
Yeah.
What else did we see that was very?
There's olives, but also sprinkled through the olive groves are other fruit trees. We saw almonds and figs and all sort of fruiting trees. They're doing a bit of work on the gardens there, so just downstream from where the Ein Karem spring flows out. There's gardens there that they're working on. And we had a beautiful day there. It's an area of a lot of artists and craftspeople. Some people practice the ancient crafts like basketry and weaving. There's hubs where people from Israel and Palestine can come together for peace work. There's people doing work for the youth, and one of the coffee shops that we ate at supports women, so it provides employment opportunities for women in need. And there's also this environmental protection. So the spring is actually the area around the spring when we were there, and the gardens, and people are doing work to sort of clean up those terraces downhill from the spring as well.
What is the significance of the spring?
The name of Ein Karem means spring of the vineyard, and in all of these traditions, the Jewish, the Christian, and the Muslim, it's always the spring. mentioned as the place, like it's where Mary drank and got refreshment. It's where one of the Muslim leaders rested and got strength and nourishment from the spring so that he could overtake the city the next day. It's this place of fortification. The spring comes straight out of these hills, and the hills are all made of the Jerusalem stone. So it's this beautiful, strong, cream-coloured stone that all the buildings in the area are made from. And so the water comes out of this. It's full of mineral. It's very soft. They say at the moment not to drink it just because there was a village up on top of the mountain, so it's been contaminated over time. But it's still beautiful, fresh, cool spring water, and it makes that area very fertile. And it's always been an area of these orchards and growing.
Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, really, we talked to my cousin that she born in Jerusalem, and she said like this place is always very special. Like if someone leave the neighborhood, like the person that will come in instead, it's someone that they know, that like it's very like it's such a protected place that everyone know everyone. Lots of artists, lot of diversity as well.
And so how did it feel around the treasure vase? What did you sense with this little vase and its job that it's doing there, and how we might connect with it ourselves?
Yeah, I was definitely feeling into that even as we drove in, and then as we walked into the place where the vase is probably buried. We don't know exactly where it is, but it could be anywhere downhill from where the spring is. So the spring comes out of the mountain, and then there's two sides of hills full of these olive groves, just these gentle sloping hills that you can walk down through the terrace all the way to the bottom. So we just went through one side of the hills about halfway down and sat under an olive tree. The feeling of sitting there, even though it was a hot autumn day, was very calm, peaceful, and rejuvenating. A soft wind came and blew and cooled us down as we sat there. The birds were singing in the trees. Definitely all of the plants, feel very vibrant there. And so it felt like a perfect place for the Earth Treasure Vase. And being that there is this element of the people that live there really care for the place. They've fought actually to sort of hold back any modern developments which are out of character for the place, and to keep things built of this Jerusalem stone. And obviously it fosters these artists and craftspeople and peace building activities. So it feels like the vase being in this location, really harnesses the elemental energies of this place.
Yeah, it's feel like a refuge place. It's a place of in the big mayhem of the city that not far and the rest of the country. This is kind of an oasis. It's like it's a place of peace and calm. So we just need to expand it from there on.
Let's do that. Let's do that. I'm so grateful to you for going there and for bringing us there with you in this way, because that treasure vase happened so many years ago through some other people that had the motivation to see that it goes there, and made a connection with a woman doing peace building work between Muslim and Jewish communities there, and young children, and all the things that you named she was involved with. And fortunately I've lost touch with her, and so I haven't heard much, and it's one of those that's kind of been lost along the way. So I'm really grateful for bringing this vase back into our awareness now. And it's wonderful to hear your description of that place in the midst of everything else that's going on there. So thank you again. And so tonight, I think it is time to turn our attention to our meditation, and maybe to bring awareness of this particular location, which we rarely focus on, into our practice tonight, and all these other ones that are in process. And I'm sure that some of you are stewarding treasure vases, or you may have them with you for this practice as well. Excuse me. So let's tune in together and see what the mandala has to share with us tonight. So I'll invite you to turn off your video so that we can really turn inwards and go into the meditation. We'll start with a bell. Therese will lead the practice with me tonight. And we do have Julian Silburn coming in with the didgeridoo with a friend who is with him in Australia tonight. So there'll be two sounds of the didgeridoo when that time comes. And then we'll return to the circle for sharing. So I'm going to turn off my video as well right now, and we'll get started. So let's begin by taking a few deep breaths, conspiring together once again, breathing in and breathing out, deep and slow. Feeling your body relax with each breath. Coming into the present moment. Sensing the ground beneath you, holding you. Offering stability and a sense of calm. Your roots reaching deep down into the earth. Breathing in and breathing out. Drawing up through your taproot the nourishing energies and life force of Mother Earth, which she gives freely and generously to all of us. And with each breath, letting all of the thoughts of the past or the concerns for the future just melt away, and any tensions in your body relaxing. Moving more and more into this precious moment of deep communion with Mother Earth. And from this place of feeling deeply rooted and grounded, let's open to the light from above, the warmth of the sun, the moon in all its fullness, the stars glistening in the vast, expansive energies of the cosmos, the swirling world that we live within, rooted below, connected above, in this present moment, breathing.
And now let's feel our connectedness to the special place that you sit on the planet right now. Feel your relationship to the soils, stones, waterways, to the forests, flowers, the communities of life who call these habitats their home, just like you, and who also receive stability and nourishment from Mother Earth and the warmth of the sun and the moon, just like you. In this present moment, in this special place, let's acknowledge those who have come before us. We acknowledge the ancestors of the original indigenous people of the lands that we inhabit, who have been in sacred relationship with our lands for countless generations. We acknowledge the future ancestors of this land who will continue to hold this land as sacred for countless generations to come. And we humbly invite all of them to bless us and our practice. We also call upon all of our sources of inspiration, our own ancestors, elders, teachers and guides, lineage masters, Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, and wisdom beings that we feel connected to. We invite them to be present with us now, to bring us their blessings, to yourself and to everyone present for the meditation, receiving their blessings of love, support, guidance, healing, and clarity.
As this beautiful blessing energy enters you, feel the love and caring coming all the way into your deepest heart of hearts. And breathe it in, receiving this blessing. And breathing out, send this love and caring to everyone who is present in this circle. And breathing in, receive the love that is being sent. Breathing out, sending. Breathing in, receiving. Like the ebb and flow of the tides washing blessings amongst us in this circle. And with the next breath, gradually expanding your focus to include all of your friends and family and community and all of those who this practice might serve. Imagine our circle growing from our locations where we are now, our homes and neighborhood, bioregion, country and continent, to include all beings in all places everywhere, embracing the whole planet with our love. Breathing in and breathing out with Gaia. And with this feeling of rootedness below and expansiveness above, and the waves of love flowing from your heart, let's turn our awareness to those who are suffering, the places where there is war, poverty, disease, pollution, droughts or floods or fires. Wherever the need for healing is very great. And breathe in this suffering. And on the out breath, send this love and caring that we have generated together to relieve the suffering of the earth, of her people, and of all life all around the whole planet. Imagine that where there is hunger, great nourishing gardens begin to grow. And where there is thirst, fresh, clean waterways spring up. Where there are unhoused, safe shelters are built. Where there is war and conflict, choirs of peace echo in the hills. Where there is sickness, vital health is celebrated. And aware of where the earth is unstable, in danger, or out of balance in any way, imagine a restoration of balanced power, bringing protection and regeneration as you hear the song lines of the land singing in great harmony.
Now see the generosity and reciprocity in the communities of life flowing freely, seeing the beauty and riches of nature flowering into abundance for the sustenance of life, revitalizing this radiant blue-green planet we call home. As we hold this glowing vision of Mother Earth, we call into our awareness the presence of the Earth Treasure Vases that have been planted or are in the process of being planted all around the world. Let us imagine that together we're pouring our love and caring in the form of light into each and every little clay pot buried in the body of Mother Earth, filling each vase with our deepest prayers and blessings for healing. Imagine each Earth Treasure Vase radiating light in every direction, sending healing and protective energies wherever it's needed, in whatever form it's needed. See the light like a rainbow streaming forth from each of the vases, white, yellow, red, blue, green, and all the colors in between. And breathing in and breathing out, allowing the feeling of caring and compassion in your heart of hearts to grow and grow. And send that love in the form of light to all of the people, animals, plants, and places that are connected to the Earth Treasure Vases and that need healing and protection in the past, in the present, and in the future.
The locations where the treasure vases have been planted start here in New Mexico, in a cave above the Los Alamos National Laboratory, the birthplace of the atomic bomb. And went to the north at the source of the Rio Grande River in Crete, Colorado, and to the south at the mouth of the Rio Grande, the Gulf of Mexico, to the east on top of Mount Baldy above Santa Fe, and to the west on Mount Chicoma, which is known as Tsikamu, to the Tewa people of New Mexico, who are the custodians of the sacred lands where this mandala began. And then see the mandala growing all around the world in every direction. To the Indian Point Nuclear Reservation on the Hudson River in New York. to the headwaters, old growth redwood forest in Northern California, the Punta Cometa on the coast of Oaxaca in Mexico, Vilcabamba, Ecuador, Jakova, Kosovo, the Lawrence Laboratory at the University of California in Berkeley, the Tao Dum Forest on the border of Thailand and Burma, the village of Ein Karem in Israel, Palestine, Hiroshima, Japan, the cloisters in New York City after 9/11, the Biosphere 2 in Oracle, Arizona, the Martin Luther King Freedom Center in Oakland, California, the source of the Ganges in India, the source of the Amazon in Peru, the Southern Pacific Ocean 93 feet down in Agum Atoll, the Trobriand Islands, Papua New Guinea, the Arctic Circle, Alaska, the Kogi lands of the Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta, Colombia, Telewoyan Village, Lofa County, Voinjama District, Liberia, West Africa, the Blida River Canyon, Limpopo Province, South Africa, the Giza Plateau in Egypt, Haleakala, Maui, Hawaii, the Itombwe Forest, South Kivu Province, Democratic Republic of Congo, Avebury, England, Bindaluk, Jawan Country, Catherine, Northern Territory, Australia.
And the second generation of Earth Treasure Vases in Gubbarmong, Arnhem Land, Australia, the Mackenzie King Park, Ottawa River Valley, Ottawa Gatineau in Canada, the original garden in Findhorn, Scotland, the Great Stupa of Budnath in Kathmandu, Nepal, the Flint Hills of Kansas in the heartland of America, the Santa Cruz Mountains near Silicon Valley, California, the Valles Caldera of northern New Mexico, Honolulu, the Bungle Bungles in the Kimberleys of Australia, the village of Utqiagvik on the edge of the sea in northernmost Arctic Alaska, the Hanford Nuclear Reservation on the shores of the Columbia River in the state of Washington, Mount Ryosen above Fukushima in Japan, back to where it all began at the cave hermitage of Charok, Nepal, to Margibi County, Liberia, to the base of an old ironbark tree on Dithy Hill Mountain in the Budawang wilderness of Walbanja country in Yuin Nation, southeastern Australia, to our root temple Tolutaling Monastery in Nepal, the Munzar Valley in Turkey, Serpent Mound in Ohio, the Ashaninka Spiritual Portal, Campodorio Amania Indigenous Land in the Brazilian Amazon bordering Peru, the Border Peace School, Chirawan in the demilitarized zone between North and South Korea, Arhuaco Territory in Colombia, in Aotearoa, in Te Waipoenama, the South Island of Aotearoa, New Zealand, to Delphi in Greece, here on Mount Parnassus.
And the third generation of Earth Treasure Vases in Antarctica, the Isle of Lewis in the Outer Hebrides, Scotland, the Sagadak Dunes on Lake Michigan in the United States, Highwood Valley in the Rocky Mountains of Alberta, Canada, southeastern Turtle Island, Chaconage, Tennessee, on the shores of Lake Washington in Kirkland, Washington, near the Life Care Center where COVID began in the US. And all of the Earth Treasure Vases being stewarded now to southwestern Australia, the Bering Strait in Russia, a vase dedicated to healing racism in the United States, to Washington, D.C., Italy, British Columbia, the Himalayas, Chile, Russia, Afghanistan, Luxembourg, and Oroville in India. And finally, we include the third generation of Earth Treasure Vases being stewarded by those who crafted them, and the 6 vases still awaiting their destination that rest on the altar along with the mother vase here in New Mexico.
And so once again, please take a deep and slow in-breath and a deep and slow out-breath. And imagine that all that is needed to relieve the suffering of the earth can be seen as light, radiating out from each of the Earth Treasure Vases, all around the whole planet, in every direction. Imagine this healing light flowing out from the vases, filling the whole global Earth Treasure Vase Mandala with the powerful energies of our love and caring. See this healing force traveling through the song lines and meridians of the earth, flowing into each location on the global mandala, and seeing the mandala like a web of light embracing the whole planet. Feel the light flowing back and forth like waves from your heart to the Earth Treasure Vases, energizing them and adding vitality and brilliance to the light that is then flowing out to the whole area in the sphere of influence of each of the Earth Treasure Vases.
And now imagine this light flowing into your own location, your own special spot in nature. And feel the collective spiritual intelligence of the entire global Earth Treasure Vase Mandala activating your node on the global healing mandala and entering you as a holy vessel. Finally, please focus your concentration single-pointedly on bringing healing and protection to the whole earth for all time. See the healing and protection radiating out from all of these vases around the whole earth in waves of light flowing back and forth endlessly. And imagine that the healing is accomplished and the vitality of the earth is completely restored.
And recognizing the great interconnected web that is life on Earth, of which we each are a part. Let's give thanks for this precious, sacred time together and pray that the compassion and peace that is our true condition may bring supreme happiness and benefit to the Earth and to all beings. with another deep and slow in-breath, a deep and slow out-breath. Let's bring our awareness back, just as slowly as you like, back to your body, feeling your feet on the ground, grounded on the earth in your location. As you wiggle your toes and open your eyes and return when you're ready to the circle for sharing and for the making of offerings.
Thank you so much, Therese, for your beautiful voice, helping to guide the meditation. Etai, for your stories about Israel, taking us there, and Therese for bringing us along with you to Delphi, Mount Parnassus. And Julian, for the sound of your incredible instrument that takes us into the body of Mother Earth, strengthening our prayers and meditation so powerfully. And to all of you for being here, many of you up in the middle of the night to be live and in person. Thank you so much for prioritizing this. And so now the circle is open for offering insights, reflections, prayers, offerings into whichever direction is calling you. There's so many nodes lit up right now. So I'd love to hear from you. And I know that there are some of you who are stewarding treasure vases that are in the circle as well. And I'm going to ask dear Rastool to facilitate the sharing and call on you. You can either wave your hands or raise your hand on the participants panel, and she will see you and call on you. So the circle's open.
Yes, Megan, come in.
Hiya, everyone. I'm from Boddington in Western Australia, and I would like to offer a poem that I've written, and it's in honour of our Mika, the moon. And I'll read that out now, and I'll dedicate it to Julian and the prayers and the treasure vase for Perth and the southwest of Australia. Wanju Murat Jilba Mika. There's no denying the beauty you behold as you gracefully rise in the darkness, pushing and pulling our tides. You light up our skies. I look to you in awe, in wonder, communicate to you through silence. Full, round, and ripe. Good night to you, dear Mika. Your illumination, it shines. Brighten up our journey. Quabradak, Mika. Don't hide behind the shadow of the clouds. Your beauty oversees all as you duck and weave behind the veil of the shores. Shine, dear one, shine. I meet you in my dreaming. Thank you for being magnificent in all your power and beauty. As you hit me in my heart and I remember my duty. So I'd just like to say what those words mean in our Noongar language. Wanju means welcome. Murat means full. Jilba, that means August and September season in our Noongar seasons. Mika means moon. And Quabradak means beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Megan. So wonderful to have you here and to hear those words and receive that beautiful invocation to the moon that is such a beautiful companion for us on this journey. And may all of those prayers go where they're meant to be with you, Julian. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Megan. Megan was the first person to offer into the treasure vase, so it's a great honor. So happy to see you on this call, Megan, and your beautiful family that I've had some lovely connection with, and yeah, it's such a blessing. So thank you so much for gracing us in that way. Thank you.
Yes, Charlotte.
Hello. I just wanted to share my gratitude. This is the first new moon meditation I'm joining. I'm calling from France. It's quite late here, and I'm so happy, Cynthia, to be joining you in Tuscany. And I have the honor of I'll be stewarding the vase to Afghanistan. So more than an offering, it's actually a request for your prayers, because I don't know when it will be possible. It's a country I've lived in many years, between 2000 2010, and I still have very close ties to that country. And I confess a bit nervous of engaging in this journey, but feeling very, very privileged to be part of this beautiful mandala. And to joining you on future meditations, and also in Tuscany in a couple of weeks. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Charlotte. It's really an honor to have had you step forward with this intention, and we will all be supporting you every step along the way. So takes as long as it takes, and we're incredibly grateful that a treasure vase has been dedicated to going into Afghanistan. Yeah.
Come on in, Lauren.
Hi, I'm so happy to see everybody this evening. Yesterday, I went for a walk and I gathered spring water from a little spring that comes out of the mountain and winds its way, I guess, eventually to the Missouri River. And I was listening to Etai and Therese talk about the spring in Israel, and how much it just made me realize how connected we all really are. And I have a little pot that I planted a number of years ago in my yard, and I intend to pour the water over that area and see it connecting. And as I was gathering it, I was thinking about water on our planet, and as you were speaking about Greece and the burn, and just, you know, we need water in some places we have too much water. It's out of balance, but I think that what we're doing helps bring back the balance. And I was listening to some astrology about the big energies right now, Cynthia, and you know, I think those of us that are sensitive can feel them, you know, and that this will be going all the way through 2024, and that as things fall apart, they also do come back together. And the best thing we can do is just keep practicing this love and receiving it and sending it out. And so this ceremony just really means a lot to me personally, and also I know to everyone else here. And Therese, you're so lucky you got to go back to the cave. It's just like, you know, it's just wonderful that you two are traveling like you are and doing what you're doing, and what Rick was doing in France. Everyone is just doing marvelous work, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Lauren. Judith.
Thank you, Rasul, and hello, everyone. I want to say, first of all, for those of you who may not know, that Marge McCarthy is in the hospital. Beloved Marge, she's doing better, but she had a fall, and I just received a notice that she's better. But she's my co-steward with this vase that's destined for Washington, D.C. And I just wanted to mention her so we can send our collective love to her for her recovery. But also to mention a friend of mine is on the call today, Marianne Wamhoff, who's also a friend of March. And she's been scouting a place that I've been imagining, dreaming, in a natural surround in Washington, D.C. So we should have some news soon that this will be going in the ground in time for 2024 and all it's bringing to us. So that's, it's all happening there. And the vase is going to take another trip to England next week, and then gather up some more energy until probably late February, when hopefully it will be joining the mandala as one of the nodes. So blessings to dear Marge and to all of you, and thank you so much as always. This is just a highlight of the month for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Judith. Thank you for that news, and so nice to have you here with us, Marianne. It's good to feel the energy of this particular treasure vase gaining a little bit of momentum now to go to Washington. So may it be so, may it be so. And thank you, Lauren, for your beautiful words as well.
Yes, Elizabeth.
Well, with this beautiful visit to Ein Karem, I want to bring forward a program that is very connected with Santa Fe, and I feel in many ways with the mandala. Every year, about 8 girls from Israel and 8 girls from Palestine come to camp with each other in Santa Fe for 3 weeks and come to know each other and tell each other their stories and do hours and hours of dialogue and art with each other. And their program is called Tomorrow's Women, and they're being mentored to be female leaders in the area of bringing peace to Israel-Palestine. And it's a very powerful program. And the girls were just here and visited the Pueblo with Mary and Naranjo and made adobes for one of the new Bua houses, which is the indigenous sacred bread. And so I just want to ask for prayers for those girls in that program that's been going for about 16 years. They come here, they make friends, they listen to each other deeply, and then they have to go back into the situations that they live in and find a way to spread the peace. So may we support them in every way.
May it be so. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. Yes. Yes. Yes, they are living earth treasure vases, holy vessels.
I'd love to support that intention that you brought in, Elizabeth Christine, with an offering of a olive leaf from Ein Karem into the global mandala. And I'll be able to offer this into one of the vases. We'll be going to the retreat in Tuscany where all these beautiful little vessels will come and gather. So we have some olive leaf offerings physically into the vases to the mandala as well. So may the peace ripple out and flow through the valleys and hills of the Jerusalem mountains, of Israel and Palestine, and of the whole world, wherever it's needed.
And I want to, as someone already said, bring balance. I talked about the extremes in Israel, so a bit more balance, a bit more calmness, and you see there the patriarchy, the government that is so patriarchal, but then you see the rising of the people as well. So I think it's time for the rising of the people equal, to say their voice, to raise their voice and to claim peace in the world. So this is my prayer for the people to unite.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. May it be so. May it be so, and may all of the peace and love and beauty that is generated in each of these earth treasure vases also flow back into the vase in Israel, in Palestine, in this beautiful spring area with olive trees growing on the hillside. May that place be a refuge and a haven, and may it receive as well as give out. May it be kept alive in that beautiful way, for that balance to be realized.
Yes, Kat.
having been at the Parliament of World Religions with Rasul and Judith and others, and hearing the story of Israel, I feel very much this prayer rise in my heart that the true light of all religions shine through, and that the fundamentalism and dogma and patriarchal mindsets and whatever else gets in the way of the real truth and the real seed of love and peace that comes through religion, that light shines through all religions, that opens the hearts and drops the rigidity and the mindset of righteousness, and so that's my prayer today.
Thank you. May it be so. May it be so.
Hi, Maggie, come in.
Well, I have the great privilege of being one of the stewards of the Vase for British Columbia. And our Vase is dedicated in part to healing of the grief and trauma from the residential school genocide of the Indigenous people. And one of the privileges in stewarding this vase is that it came to me to also acknowledge the grief and the trauma of the genocide of my own people, the Jewish people. And of course, this connects to hearing about what's going on in Israel and where the vase is there. Where so many people are also affected by the same trauma of that same genocide. And I realized that what's happened is our vase is expanded its dedication to the healing of trauma and grief from all genocides that have happened to humans throughout history, to all of us. So my prayer tonight has to do with praying for the healing that probably most of us suffer one way or another. Grief and trauma of genocide and, the terrible separation that we get stuck in as human beings. A prayer that that separation be healed. And I think that's, thank you.
So hard to put those prayers into words, isn't it? But thank you so much for bringing all of that forward, Maggie.
Yes, thank you so much, Maggie. I feel to tag along some, as I have been an honored witness to that process for you and for Olivia, who I know is here as well. The journey of feeling the calling to be an instrument of healing for part of a history that we see as part of this expression of dominion, of amnesia, and to perceive it as something external, and then to find oneself in spaces, oasis spaces, where there is a generosity of presence to be shared, where you and Olivia have recognized how that is also part of your lineage, and how this can be liberated within collective healing spaces. And so I want to thank you for your disposition, for your courage, the both of you. And I want to sow into the mandala the spirit of friendship and of generous presence within which this healing can take place. The capacity to feel held, to have a nervous system that can be at ease, to express how these memories live within our bodies and how we are still experiencing them, to then be like a tree with golden plums that fall to the ground and nourish the land. I sow that abundance. I sow those plump, ripe, golden plums into the mandala, that spirit of generosity that the earth reminds us that is our true nature.
Oh, thank you, Russell. Beautifully said. Thank you so much.
It's the beautiful plum going into the mandala.
Mm.
Thank you, Therese. That reminds me that I want to celebrate and also sow into the mandala your union with Etai, your camaraderie, the solidarity that you offer each other to fulfill the calling that you are each here to offer to the world, to these times, to the mandala, that sacred partnership, so generative, loving, and spacious. Thank you for the sanctuary that you embody and that you extend. Thank you. Yes, Star Woman Liza Jane.
As I was listening to so many things, I kept going back to a day when I was shucking corn from the back of Auntie Amy's truck with her last fall. And that spirit of friendship, so humbling and so simple. So I offer corn. And the stories that were told that day, just woman to woman, very simply, in the spirit of friendship.
Thank you, Liza. Aunt Amy is a Cherokee Salagi elder, living in the mother town of the Cherokee people. And I wish to extend the merits of our time together towards her, towards Marge, towards the elders in our community that could be benefited and supported in strength, in grace, in feeling how vital they are to our times. Yeah, deep gratitude for their presence amongst us, both here and wherever they might be.
Thank you, Rasul. Amy's been in the hospital, but she's coming home tomorrow. Yeah, she really appreciates the healing energy and the prayers that have been extended to her from this healing mandala. She expressed that it has really given her strength. I've passed on each prayer that has been extended to her. And if you're interested in adding to those messages, you can go on the mandala. There's a beautiful picture of her as she was blessing the vase for Southeast Turtle Island for healing that I feel is very related to what you spoke to, Maggie. So there's all kinds of connections. So thank you.
Yes, Susan.
The different little buttons to push. I'm so grateful for this call today. And so actually I have to share in July during the full moon meditation, I happened to touch my neck and found a lump. And so in some ways I feel like these calls have saved my life, because it was they gave me a diagnosis and I'm getting treatment for it. And so I feel like so many things just happen to help us along our path. And one thing that this has allowed me to do is really go inward and check in with my body and just be grateful, and also very much ground to the healing of Mother Earth. And so the more you do this, the more you connect with the treasure vases also, because it's all formed into a network. And I've just felt so blessed with that. And then the other thing is just tapping into joy. I think with what has happened in the world, I'm not losing hope, because it springs eternal. And I think something that's very important in these times is to cultivate more joy. So I would add that to all the vases throughout the land, our joy in knowing that we're making a difference. And I do a lot of work with some of my friends about flower mandalas and releasing prayers with the flowers to send them down the river. And one thing that happened last weekend is we had all these flowers gathered down, and I just knew to throw myself onto the flowers. And it was such rose, and they were all roses. We'd gathered dozens of roses, and it was almost equivalent to a shamanic burial, that instead of in the earth, I just was on the flowers, and they threw more and more flowers on me. And it gave me such joy and grounding. So I just pick up that joy and energy, and just imagining hundreds of roses just scattered throughout all the vases, because that's one of the roses grow in more countries than any other flower, and they have the highest vibration, energetic vibration. So the essence of the roses and the joy to just spread throughout. And after that, another interesting thing is I've had house plants for a long time and never did like a mushroom grow in it. And a mushroom grew next to my plant, and it was a beautiful mushroom. And that's a plant that's kind of different, and it has had healing properties, and so that kind of fascinated me. And today when we went to the river to pray and throw more flowers out, I found some more mushrooms. So I feel like the essence of the mushrooms, that's unlike any other plant, really. It's a fungi, but it spreads its essence. So I'm just gonna, the magical properties of mushrooms into the vases. So joy and roses and mushrooms. And thank you all for all you do.
Thank you, Susan, for that bounty. Yes, Maggie and Eva.
Yeah, okay. Thank you all for this beautiful, beautiful blessings together, for the stories, for the incredible emotions that come with it, and death and life, and life and death. And what I would like to offer to the vases and to all of us is this white feather for peace, and this little smudge stick for cleansing. And heaps of love to all, and strength to manage all these changes, for our hearts to stay strong in these changes, and to stay ourselves and believe in the goodness that's in ourselves, and to bring that into the world. Thank you.
Yes, added thanks to your hearts. Thank you, Therese and Etai, for bringing the lands, bringing the spirits of those lands and the vases to us. It's most beautiful. In the meditation, when Ein Karem, the vase there, was there, or Israel itself, I know a lot of the writings on the great ley lines around the world do put Jerusalem at the centre. And as you mentioned, Etai, at least geographically, it has certainly a centeredness that's there in so many ways. In the meditation, I then saw it was like a vein, a lifeline to Ein Karem from Jerusalem. Though this was that, the spring eternal, someone has used in the term. So this place of nourishment that's there for all the glory and the mayhem and hubbub that goes with being a city like Jerusalem, or any of those big nodes that have to hold so much of the intensity and the grapplings of life that's there. I also then, that led me to thinking of all the indigenous people around the world who provide that same function. They hold and they hold and they hold. They hold this level of purity, of truth, of right relationships in the world. So Ein Karem and the vase there is one of them, and those blessings on the people in the vase there that do the work of holding that truth in place. But to all the vases, to all the people, to each of us in our own hearts, for that place where we are the holders as well in our own life that's there, but particularly, as I said, extended to the indigenous people of this land, but the many lands who just hold with all the pain, but with such, certainly in this land, such enormous generosity of heart as they await the eventual fulfilling of what we all dream into. So, and that extends to each of us here in this mandala. So the thanks for the springs eternal in its many, many forms that keep on holding, keep on nourishing, and keep on holding the dreamings. So thank you all for being a part of it.
Always such a gift to receive the words that flow from your hearts, Ava and Maggie. Such a gift and blessing for us all, and for this mandala to receive you and your vision and caring love. Thank you. Mm.
Yes, Carola.
Hello, everyone. During the silence, I could hear and feel my heartbeat. And I want to offer this into all the vases and the mandala, and a little song. Feel the rhythm of your heartbeat. Feel the rhythm of your heartbeat. Feel. Thank you, friends.
And thank you for your song. Yes, Olivia.
Yeah, I feel so much love and peace in this call, and it feels very, very nourishing. I've had long COVID for a little over a year, and I'm just appreciating that nourishment. Elizabeth, Christine, I was really moved when you talked about the women and girls. And I know Charlotte's not on the call anymore, but maybe she'll hear the recording. I'm so grateful to you, Charlotte, for stewarding a vase to Afghanistan. I don't know, I feel a soul connection with Afghanistan. And so I want to offer a prayer to the women and girls of Afghanistan and to their safety, their nourishment, their creativity, their leadership, their education, and also to the women and girls in the Middle East and all around the world who face terrible risks in certain countries and terrible mutilations, and that there may be safety and empowerment for women and girls to help us with this amazing transformation that we're a part of.
And for the balance that has been invoked and is so needed in the world. Here's a expression of gratitude from my heart to the men in the circle for being here amongst all us women and hanging in here, hanging in here for the long haul, for restoring that balance and harmony between us all. Thank you so much. Yeah, we love you. And I love all of you so much. I'm just gazing around this circle and appreciating the longevity that is here amongst us, and appreciating the way in which many of you have come again and again, and that this is a nourishing place to be. So may all of our prayers be heard, may they be realized, and may the nourishment that we feel coming here feed us to keep coming back and to contribute our very best in all the ways that we possibly can, and to take care of ourselves in the process, because we're all needed and we each have a role to play, whether it's big or small. Our breath is contributing to the restoration of balance in the world. Our songs, our steps, because we are holy vessels after all. I would wipe a little tear into each of the vases that are present in the circle, and drop one into the spring in Ein Karem. into the little holy vessel that Rasul holds that's dedicated to the waters of the world, healing the trauma that you invoked, Maggie, and bringing joy forward in celebration of the beauty of life on earth. The golden plum ripening. So let's gather it all up, all the threads and pieces and parts of what has been contemplated tonight, and offer it up once again with a dedication of merit for the benefit of all beings. And I think you have one there, Therese. Love to.
I do. And just one final offering, flowing on from your beautiful blessing, Cynthia, of some spring water from Ein Karem. So I offer this into a little felt pomegranate full of clay from the Delphi Earth Treasure Vase site, and I offer it to you all, to you as sacred vessels. Thank you, Julian, and your friends there. It's been generated from the didgeridoo sound. Thank you. And offer it to all of you blessed people here, to all of you blessed vases here, to all of the vases in the ground, and to the whole earth. And so, for as long as the earth remains, and for as long as sentient beings remain, until then, may these vases too remain, to dispel the miseries of the world. By this merit, may we swiftly realize our inseparability from Gaia. May all beings without exception realize their inseparability too. Like the wealth of a wish-granting jewel and the excellent vase, may the purpose of all our wishes be unobstructedly accomplished. Mother Gaia, in all your countless forms, may we possess the good fortune of never separating from your loving kindness. Alalaho, naho.
Thank you all so much for being here. See you again next month. Many blessings on the path ahead.